Ever feel like you're juggling way too many things just trying to get files across to business partners?
Oh, absolutely. It can get complex fast.
Yeah, so whether you're maybe tackling a tech certification, maybe the C1000-182, or just trying to get a better handle on enterprise systems, or maybe you're just curious how businesses actually, connect everything digitally, well, you're in the right place.
Definitely. Because today, this isn't just a quick skim. We're doing a proper deep dive into B2B file exchange.
Right.
We're zeroing in on some key stuff from IBM Sterling File Gateway and B2B Integrator, things highly relevant to that C1000-182 exam.
Yeah.
Think of it as a bit of a shortcut to understanding some really core tech.
Exactly. We've been digging into practice questions for that exam, the C1000-182, the kind of things people prepping for it are really wrestling with. And our goal is to pull out the essentials, the functions that really make B2B work smoothly, and explain them simply without drowning in jargon.
So let's just jump in then. First up, how do you actually manage the flow? All those important files moving between different companies.
Okay, yeah, let's unpack that. So the first question we saw was about routing channels in IBM Sterling File Gateway. It asks, what's the main function? And the answer given is B, define file delivery paths between partners. Sounds simple, but what's really going on there?
Well, the key thing is how these channels bring structure. Imagine this web of connections. It could get messy, right?
Totally.
So routing channels are like predefined logical paths. They say exactly how a file gets from A to B, from, say, a supplier, the producer, to maybe your internal system, the consumer.
Okay.
And it specifies the source, the destination, and importantly, any steps needed in between, like processing. Think about it. Inefficient routing. That could mean serious delays in, like, supply chain updates. Costs real money.
Right.
Routing channels let you optimize that, maybe based on how urgent a file is or how sensitive the data is.
So it's like setting up dedicated digital roads for your data, making sure it takes the best route.
Precisely. It streamlines everything, organizes it, makes managing and, crucially, troubleshooting much, much easier than just, ad hoc file sending.
Makes sense. Okay, but what if you're dealing with loads of partners? Hundreds, maybe. Managing all those connections individually sounds like a nightmare.
That is a really, really good point. And it brings us right to our second topic, centralized management.
Ah.
The question was, which IBM tool helps with that, managing multiple trading partner communities? And the answer is A, Community Manager.
Community manager. Sounds pretty central. What does it actually let you do?
Well, think big picture B2B integration. You might have hundreds, maybe thousands of partners you swap data with.
Wow.
Community Manager is your command center for all of that. It's where you onboard new partners, set up their specific configurations, their communication rules, basically manage all those different partner groups from one spot. Super valuable when partners have, different tech capabilities or requirements.
So it's not just the technical wires, it's managing the who and how of the relationships in your network.
Exactly that. It's about setting up and keeping those business relationships going within the file exchange system, but in a way that scales, that stays organized.
All right, clear. Let's shift focus a bit. Once files are actually in your system, where do they, wait before getting processed or sent on? Question 3 looked at the mailbox feature in B2B Integrator. Its purpose. B, temporarily store files before or after processing.
Yeah, the mailbox. Think of it as a temporary holding bay, a digital inbox and outbox, kind of.
Okay.
A file arrives from a partner. It might land in a mailbox, just waiting for a specific business process to grab it. Or, after a process finishes with a file, it might put it back into a mailbox before it gets delivered onwards.
So it's a buffer zone, essentially.
Exactly. And that temporary storage is key for what we call asynchronous operations.
It's synchronous, right.
Yeah, it means the system receiving the file doesn't need to be ready right then to process it. And the system that just finished processing doesn't need the recipient to be available that exact second. It decouples those steps in time, makes the whole thing more resilient, more adaptable to different systems working at different speeds.
That makes a ton of sense, especially when you're dealing with lots of different organizations on different schedules. Okay, but what if things don't go smoothly? How do you even know if a transfer is stuck or failed?
Visibility. That's absolutely critical. And our fourth question hits on this. It asks about a feature in File Gateway for seeing active transfers and their status. The answer is B, Active Transfers tab in Dashboard.
A dashboard tab. Sounds like a quick look. What kind of info do you get there?
Think of it like a real-time window. You see all the file transfers happening right now. The
Right.
tab shows each transfer's status. Is it running? Did it complete successfully? Or, importantly, did it hit an error? This immediate view is just gold for tracking critical data, spotting bottlenecks, and, crucially, diagnosing problems fast. Imagine a vital order file just doesn't arrive for processing. That tab lets you quickly see if the transfer failed and maybe even why. Saves huge amounts of time, could prevent delays in getting orders out.
So instead of digging through logs trying to figure out what happened, you get an immediate, clear picture. That sounds like a massive time saver and a way to nip problems in the bud.
Absolutely. It enables proactive monitoring, not just reacting after something's already gone wrong and caused disruption.
Okay, now let's talk reliability. Keeping things running even if, say, a server hiccups. Question 5 asks, what setting you need for high availability in B2B integrator? The answer points to B, cluster nodes. What are those in practice?
Right. High availability, or HA. It's all about minimizing downtime, keeping the system running. Configuring cluster nodes basically means setting up multiple instances of B2B integrator, multiple servers to work together as one system.
Okay.
Often involves things like load balancing, shared storage. The key is failover. If one node, one server has a problem, even fails completely, the other nodes automatically pick up the slack seamlessly. Keeps the system operating. In today's world, 24/7 business, even a few minutes offline can cost a fortune. Clustering isn't just tech for tech's sake. It's often a business necessity for continuity.
So it's like having backup systems ready to jump in instantly if the main one stumbles, keeping the business running.
That's a great way to put it. Redundancy and failover. Essential for any business relying heavily on nonstop B2B transactions.
Makes total sense. Okay, circling back to setting up connections. Question 6 asks why you'd configure multiple routing channel templates in File Gateway. The answer is C. Handle different file formats or delivery protocols. Why is that flexibility so key?
Well, you just have to think about the real world. Businesses exchange data in so many different ways.
Yeah.
Some partners might use basic FTP, others need the security of SFTP, some use HTTPS for web stuff, and the files themselves. Could be plain text, complex XML, standard EDI formats. It's diverse.
So a single setup just wouldn't work for everyone.
Exactly. One size definitely does not fit all here. Templates let you predefine and save the specific settings needed for these different scenarios. FTP settings here, SFTP there, rules for XML here, EDI there.
Ah, I see.
Having multiple templates means you can easily cater to all your partners' different tech needs without manually setting up every single connection from scratch. It's about flexibility, but also efficiency and reducing errors.
Sounds like it saves a massive amount of configuration time and hassle, especially with lots of varied partners. Okay, you mentioned security with SFTP. Let's focus on that. Question 7 asks how File Gateway ensures secure transfers. Answer C highlights encryption protocols such as SFTP or HTTPS. How do they actually secure the data?
Security is non-negotiable, right?
Exactly.
Especially with business data.
Absolutely.
Protocols like SFTP, the Secure File Transfer Protocol, and HTTPS, which you see in your browser's address bar, use strong encryption. Think of it as scrambling the data while it's traveling over the network.
Scrambling, I have.
They use complex math, strong encryption algorithms, so even if someone managed to intercept the data mid-transfer, which is hard enough, they couldn't read it, it would just look like gibberish without the right key to unscramble it. The strength of that encryption and how those keys are managed are super important.
So it's like sending your important documents in a super strong digital lockbox, and only the intended recipient has the key.
Precisely. That end-to-end encryption during transit is fundamental. Protects sensitive business info from prying eyes or tampering.
Okay, vital stuff. We've talked about files moving. What about managing them once they've, served their purpose? Question 8 asks, what helps enforce data retention policies? The answer is A, File Purge Utility. What's its job?
Yeah, data governance, compliance. Big topics. Organizations often have rules, sometimes legal requirements, about how long they need to keep certain data and when to get rid of it. The File Purge Utility automates this. Admins set up rules like delete files older than X days or delete files of type Y after Z months. The utility then automatically finds and securely deletes files that meet those criteria.
So it's like an automated digital janitor, keeping things tidy and compliant, getting rid of old stuff.
Exactly. It stops your systems getting clogged with old data, which can actually hurt performance over time, and it helps manage compliance and security risks associated with keeping data too long.
Got it. Okay, let's switch to speed, making things faster. Question 9 asks what the File Gateway's preload function does. Answer C, load large files into memory for faster processing. How does loading into memory speed things up?
Well, there's a huge speed difference between reading data from a hard disk versus reading it from the server's main memory, the RAM.
Hmm.
Disk access is relatively slow. Memory access is lightning fast. When preload is turned on for a large file, the system copies that entire file from the slower disk into the superfast memory before it starts processing it.
Uh,
Since reading from memory is so much faster than constantly going back to the disk during processing, this preloading can drastically cut down the total processing time,
Hmm.
especially noticeable for really big, chunky files. It's a performance optimization.
So it's kind of like a chef getting all their ingredients measured out and right next to them before they start cooking, instead of running to the pantry for each item, makes the whole cooking process way faster.
That is a perfect analogy, exactly that. Minimizes the waiting time for data retrieval.
Cool. Okay, last one, question 10. This is about knowing when things go wrong quickly. It asks which feature in BDB Integrator supports proactive monitoring of process failures. The answer is B, business process monitoring alerts. How do these alerts help keep things stable?
Think of business process monitoring, or BPM, as a system that's constantly watching your automated integration processes run. The alerts part is key for being proactive. If a process hits an error, fails for some reason while it's running, the BPM system can be set up to instantly send out notifications. Usually email, maybe other channels, straight to the admins or support teams.
So instead of waiting for a user to complain or having someone manually check logs periodically, you get an immediate heads up the moment something breaks.
Exactly right. These timely alerts mean admins know about issues as they happen. They can jump in, figure out the cause, fix it, and minimize disruption to the business. It reduces downtime significantly. And honestly, this deep dive, it still just scratches the surface. B2B integration is a complex world, always more layers to peel back, always more to learn about these powerful systems.
Absolutely. And hopefully we can unpack more of these interesting areas in future discussions. Until our next deep dive, keep thinking, keep exploring.